Today is the day. I am going to disassemble my transmission. Alrighty. There were even some particles in there, which didn't look good at all. So I am fearing that maybe one of the clutch plates. Oh yeah, it's coming. Here we go. There is almost no tension on those springs left, but these are just laying in here. I'm gonna let that sit, soak in, and see what it does. To reassemble all of it, I have ordered a lot of parts, like from Summit, this oil pan gasket, a new oil pan, some bushings, bearings. These are needle bearings, intermediate clutches, cleaning fluid for my cooler lines, a whole transmission rebuild kit. With everything I will need, hopefully. Clutch pack, new filter, another clutch pack, steel rings. Oh yeah, and I have ordered a new torque converter. So I plan on cutting the old one in half and look if there was some faulty parts in there, like the bearings or something. But for now, I am going to disassemble my whole transmission. Another thing I have that will help me a lot is this manual. I rebuilt one transmission some years ago, 4 years ago maybe, and this helped me a lot. So I hope it will guide me through this whole process another time. Whew. Look at this puppy. And still, like I mentioned yesterday, I think that the gasket of my oil pump is leaking, because down here there's always new transmission fluid coming out. This connector for the downshift solenoid I can only get out from the inside because there are some hooks that I can't pull out. Is this vacuum modulator, so I have to just unbolt this one bolt to pull it out. There may be still some fluid coming out. When I got my car back in 2014, one of the first things I did was replace the old vacuum modulator with a new one, because I thought that this one had to do with some shifting problems and such, but it didn't help that much. Because the problem was, I guess, still back then, the leaking oil pump, because I was losing transmission fluid, and if you have too little transmission fluid in the transmission, it won't shift at all or won't shift properly. So that was a big thing back then. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up here. Get some numbers. What do we have here? Turbo Hydromatic, made in USA. AC Hydromatic, division of General Motors Corporation, 76. So I can't get this valve out just yet. If it doesn't want to come out, you can use a small flat tip screwdriver to help it out of the case. after the valve body is removed. Alright. So let's open up the governor case. Maybe there is still some fluid left in here. Just the governor, it has some weights in there, and it works with centrifugal force. And the gasket seems to be really old. It's hard and brittle. The tail housing is up next. I put some cardboard underneath the transmission just to not mess up my table just yet. It will happen sooner than later. I am sure of that. I like to get bolts loose by hand so I have a bit more feeling for the bolts. But once they are loose, pull them out with a machine. And here we have the first bushing, and it looks okay, but I'm sure that this gasket wasn't sealing anymore. It's really hard. I'd say shortly before cracking. I don't know if you can see that, but this bushing looks very okay-ish. This gasket looks old and brittle too, but is still intact. With all of these parts removed, I can now pull out the oil pump assembly. This thing here drives the speedometer cable, which comes out here. The next step is not pulling out the oil pump assembly. Next thing we're going to do is to turn this transmission upside down and pull out the oil pan. And this is going to make a mess, because there is still oil in there. I can see that. Maybe I have made a mistake by not pulling out the oil pan first when I was underneath the car. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you learn. I'm gonna try to loosen all bolts and carefully turn the transmission upside down and leave the oil pan lay here. And now I'm going to try to carefully turn the transmission upside down. If we can have all bolts. No. Already wants to come out. Not as bad as I thought, but still bad. there is a lot of fluid in there. Wow. Alrighty. So let's get this oil filter off. And what I did, I cleaned my oil pan and it was really dirty. There were even some particles in there, which didn't look good at all. So I am fearing that maybe one of the clutch plates is in really bad condition. Some particles. So maybe I'll cut this open afterwards just to see the condition or the parts that were in there. Even here, a lot of particles. This does not look good. Filter case, that helps for the direction. It's in that way. These bolts are the same, but the other one are not interchangeable because of the length, they say. Can stay here. It's still bolted to the transmission housing. This is the bolt for the filter. These are all loose, so this should come out. Oh yeah, more oil, great. And here you can see VB for valve body side, and this is C for case side. Okay, valve body is removed. So next up there should be the filter, it's this one. That looks okay-ish. This one looks clean. Next up is the downshift solenoid. Let's see if we can get this thing here out. I'll try to carefully pull it out with pliers. Oh yeah, now it's coming out. Here we go. So this has a direction as well. With this little nose here. Alright, now the separator plate. Even though I have a replacement for that, I try to carefully pull it out. Oh, it's already breaking apart here. Yeah. This thing has been in here for some decades. Okay, this is the next part that has to come out. Bend apply servo. Alright. It's coming apart already. So next thing is getting out 6 check balls. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Next thing is this thing here and this servo cover. It's a pretty heavy cover. And a lot of dirt. That is fixed here, so this will come out later. It's just some guide plate for the parking brake here. So if we apply this at some point, this is like the parking brake. One thing I want to try out as well is if I can get this valve out now. No. And this is what was mentioned in the manual. You can use a screwdriver to guide it out carefully. So here it comes. So that's the valve from the vacuum modulator. But this is like a lot of dirt. Look at that. This is a thick layer of grime. One thing that is very important if you're planning on disassembling TH400 is this bolt in here. This is like a 12.38 bolt, and it's not just even that, but more importantly, this case or the nut for this bolt has to have a very thin wall. And back when I rebuilt my other transmission, I made a nut for that. You can see that I turned off the wall and it fits just perfectly in here. I think that this is maybe the most important part, because if you can't get this bolt out, you will not be able to pull out the clutch packs. Yeah, it's coming out. In my opinion, this is the most important part for this trans rebuild. It is mentioned that you have to check endplay, which should be not more than 0.03 inches to less than 0.015 inches. In millimeters, that is 0.6 to 0.7 millimeters. So right now I'm at 41.3. Now I'm at 42.5. So it's way more than it should be. So now it's time to pull out the oil pump. I think these are the same. Yeah, these are all the same. Alright, let's pull out the pump. Oh yeah, now it's coming. Here we have the oil pump. So can we see something about the seal here? So that was the bottom side here. But you can see nothing in particular other than that the seal is completely compressed. You can't even feel a bulge. On top you can feel it, on the bottom it's flush. Now that the oil pump is out, I will get this gasket here out so you can see what I want to tell you. This is also pretty hard. You will not be able to get this nail out without removing the oil pump first, because now you can get this nail out to the front like this. Pretty easy. So I'm gonna let it rest here and try to carefully open it. Yeah. With the nut removed, you can remove this part here like that. Fairly easy, and now I can remove this parking brake linkage thing and shifter thing here. Alright, so this won't come out. The thing is, this manual shifting linkage thing sits here and is pressed on that thing, so these shoulders here can widen just a hair. So I want to deburr that, so it should slide out fairly easy. Let's see if that was enough. Not just yet. Another try. So I think now it should work. Just a tiny bit more. Are we lucky this time? Yeah, just slides right out. So you want to do that to not scratch this passage here and the seal on the other end. The drive for the speedometer gear housing. So, right. So it's this gear we want to pull out. we go. That's the speedometer gear. But the gear seems to be intact. Now's the time for the forward drum clutch. Here we go. That is that. The next step is to remove the direct drum. Alright. So with that part out, I try to remove that band here. Okay, it's already loose, I guess. But, it doesn't look too terrible. There's still material on there. There is another clutch pack in here, and that I have to remove the retaining ring with a large flathead screwdriver. There is the open end, and I'm going to try to pull that out carefully. It's starting to come out. There we go. And I think one side has a chamfer on that. Or am I mistaken? No. So on that ring is no sign for any direction here. Some parts do have like a point for any direction, but this has nothing, so no. The clutches. On first look, they seem to be okay. There is another retainer. The open end is down here. This one's pretty hard to get out. Maybe with a tinier, maybe with a smaller hook, I have more success. Yeah, here we go. Come on. Here we go. This one has a chamfer. You can see that on the outside here. It has a small chamfer, but this is directional. Oh well. You could hear some rattling, and from this roller clutch thing, some of them fell out. Those outer shaft splines, they were stuck. Something's in there. with here. Alright. So let's pull that out. There you can see it. These just fell out. That's not normal. So I'm going to investigate on that. You can see it here. There is almost no tension on those springs left. But these are just laying in here. I have to remove the low band, and I realized I overlooked the part that I have to remove that as well. But with everything loose, that's for the low band. So if I'm pushing on that, you can see that move. Now there's no pressure on that, so I think I can simply remove that. So I got this snap ring off. It was sitting on here. There's a spring. Another spring. And still lots of oil. So with those parts removed, I can now remove the low band. Oh, there is still another snap ring in here. Just a thin one. It's a bit easier to get out. Doesn't seem to have a direction. So here's our low band. This is fairly lightweight for its size. It's mostly aluminum. I'm gonna clean this thoroughly and then we'll reassemble everything. So before I'm cleaning or brushing it off, I try to soak it in with some engine cleaner. I'm gonna let that sit, soak in, and see what it does. So this is the sprag ring thing, and all those cylinders, those bearings keep falling out. So this thing is shut up. There is a bearing inside. This looks to be intact. Planetary gear is already coming out. So it won't come out. That's okay. So now let's get this thing out here. Alright, now it's coming out. Here we go. That looks like it got really hot sometime.